Hello, and welcome to the Rankin Report for Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. Thank you for joining me today. From the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verses 22, 23, 25, and chapter 12, verse 3. If you carefully observe all these commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations larger and stronger than you. No one will be able to stand against you. The Lord your God, as he promised you, will put the terror and fear of you on the whole land, wherever you go. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and burn their Asherah poles in the fire. Cut down the idols of their gods and wipe out their names from these places, from those places. And then from Luke chapter 11, verse 9, Jesus is speaking. So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. The great Western artist Charles M. Russell once did a sketch of a Native American, which is currently on display at his museum in Great Falls, Montana, which contained a handwritten note saying, "This is the only real American," a reference to the native nations that were on the North American continent when the European settlers arrived. A fraction of those nations still live in the territory of the United States, of course, many of them on reservations drawn out by treaty with the U.S. government, even though the Snyder Act of 1924 gave them full citizenship. These First Peoples, as they are sometimes called, are the only nations that live within U.S. territory today. Yet, unlike the Canaanite peoples, who ancient Israel was commissioned to drive out and wipe out from the Promised Land, some of them are turning to the Lord. I've told you before of the Crow people in Montana, which have a sign within their territory proclaiming Jesus is Lord over the Crow Nation. Other First Peoples in Montana are also turning to Jesus as the work of missionaries bears fruit. I believe God will use these peoples as a sign to the rest of the United States. He will bless them, raise them up even in their poverty, and show them favor as a sign to the descendants of the European settlers, as God pours out the great awakening upon the land. There are other peoples who God has permitted, through the negligence of American leaders, to live and in some cases own property in America, even though they are not citizens. For example, China, through various companies owned by the Chinese government, has opened such facilities near military bases, making them an easy target for espionage activities. And just as the Israelites were commanded by God to destroy their false gods and remove all traces of their cultish practices to cleanse the land, so these owners must be removed and the land cleared and reclaimed for the nation. There are practices that America has incorporated from the various peoples that have emigrated here from other countries. St. Patrick's Day, of course, is tomorrow, and all kinds of festivities are planned across the nation. The influence of those who have come here shows up in everything from culture to medicine. A great example is the Pilgrim settlers at Plymouth, Massachusetts, who had to learn how the native peoples worked the land in order to survive. Many of these are good and most likely permitted by God as a help to the peoples here. But a little research reveals that some were developed in ways that displease the Lord and must be abandoned. And sometimes it's not so much God's displeasure that requires us to abandon such practices. For example, many prescription medications are synthetic versions of natural products God has graciously provided. Some such artificial medicines are beneficial, but others have proven to be ultimately harmful to people in the long run. And yet, we are put on such medications by doctors for long periods of time in some cases, by pharmaceutical companies who have patented the artificial products in order to make money from them. And it's not necessarily the doctor's fault. They are trained in medical schools to dispense such products. A re examination and a return to the materials God put on this earth for those very purposes is in order, as there are a growing number of physicians who think for themselves and investigate these, shall we say, creation based products, sometimes at risk to their licenses and their ability to practice medicine. The Great Awakening is coming, indeed, has already begun. But revival involves more than just people. The culture of a nation must also change, and that requires the people to monitor and intervene in that culture, not to participate in, and to endeavor to root out practices that are based in unbiblical ideas and philosophies. We, the people, are already learning to watch our politicians with a far more wary eye than we used to. Now the time has come to take this to the next level as we preach the gospel. God went before the Israelites to drive out the Canaanite nations that practiced wicked things before him, and not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. That's from Joshua chapter 21, verse 45. He will do the same for us if we seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. Matthew 6:33. God has opened the door. It's time to walk through it. Pray for the Great Awakening. No king but Jesus. Independence forever. That's the Rankin Report for Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. Don't forget to continue to pray for the people in California who have lost their homes and in some cases lost family members because of the fires there. Also keep in prayer the folks in Tennessee, North Carolina, and Florida who have lost the same in the floods from Hurricane Helene, and also fires in North and South Carolina. Pray for the people who have lost property and lives in those as well. Don't forget to hit the like or share buttons, or both, or the subscribe button if you enjoy these videos. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a great day.